Hey everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of December 1st. The Interstate Renewable Energy Council, or IREC, has released its 15th annual National Solar Job Census, reporting that the U.S. solar industry employed over 280,000 workers in 2024, or roughly the same level as those employed in the industry in 2023. Although the 2024 data does not capture the impacts of major federal energy policy changes enacted by the Trump administration, such as the cancellation of key tax credits as part of the repeal of the Inflation Reduction Act, they establish a baseline for measuring the effects of these policies on solar and other clean energy employment in the years ahead. California remained the top state for solar jobs despite losing roughly 1,000 jobs after state policy changes affected its residential market. Florida, Texas, New York, and Massachusetts followed as the next largest employers of solar workers. And for the fourth consecutive year, Nevada ranked first in solar jobs per capita. States with notable increases in solar jobs in 2024 included Ohio, with an increase of 5% employment, Georgia, 4.5%, Utah, 3.5%, and Texas, with a 3% increase in those employed in solar. Research firm Bloomberg NEF raised its forecast for U.S. power demand from data centers, reaching 106 gigawatts by 2035, according to their recent report. That's a 36% upward revision from their April outlook, illustrating just how quickly this data center demand is expanding. By 2035, U.S. data center electricity demand is now expected to more than triple, raising from about 35 gigawatts in 2024 to around 106 gigawatts in 2035, increasing their share of total U.S. electricity consumption from currently it uses about 3.5% of all electricity on the grid. They're anticipating that will rise to about 12% of all the electricity consumed in the nation. The U.S. Department of Energy has released a new organizational chart that has removed groups focused on energy efficiency, renewable energy, and reducing carbon emissions. A new organizational chart posted on their website shows the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations, the Office of Fossil Energy and Carbon Management, and the Grid Deployment Office are no longer listed as part of the organization. The Office of Clean Energy was established to help bridge emerging clean energy technologies from research and development to commercial deployment. It was originally established with a total portfolio of about $25 billion in federal funding as part of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act as well as the Inflation Reduction Act. Under the Trump administration, the DOE has announced widespread cancellations of funding for renewable energy initiatives, including cutting about $3 billion in May and approximately $7 billion in October. First Solar has opened a new solar panel manufacturing facility in Iberia Parish, Louisiana. The new $1.1 billion plant spans about 2.4 million square feet, or roughly about 11 times the size of the New Orleans Superdome. The facility is expected to employ over 800 people by the end of the year. Once fully ramped up, the plant is expected to add 3.5 gigawatts of annual nameplate capacity, taking First Solar's U.S. manufacturing footprint to about 14 gigawatts in 2026. Once a recently announced production facility in South Carolina is expected to come online in 2027, First Solar's manufacturing capacity will be about 17.7 gigawatts. First Solar currently produces about 1/3 of all of the solar panels manufactured in America. The Public Utilities Commission of Ohio ordered First Energy Ohio utility to pay $250.7 million in penalties and refunds after an investigation linked to a bribery scandal found that the energy distributor had indeed broken state laws. The Ohio-based First Energy previously admitted to paying $60 million in bribes to state officials to pursue legislation on nuclear subsidies and other policies that would benefit the utility. The penalty includes $187 million in refunds to customers, as well as $70 million in civil penalties. Now, if you think that this proves that crime doesn't pay, think again, because under House Bill 6, First Energy collected about $460 million from customers through surcharges on their electric bills. Challengers like the Ohio Consumers Council argued that the company should pay it all back plus interest, but the utility commissioners ultimately determined that the fines imposed should be substantially less than the total fees collected by the utility under this scandal-ridden legislation. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.